Hey, everybody. Fascinating topic today on the business of awards with Russ Fordyce, Chief Recognition Officer at Business Intelligence Group. Russ, how are you?
I am doing well. We're getting ready for the 2026 award season.
And when you think of that, you think the Oscars or, other awards shows, but this is a little different. Fascinating industry, fascinating business venture you've founded, created. Maybe start with introductions. Who is Russ and what is the big idea?
Yeah, so I am Russ Fordyce. I'm the founder and Chief Recognition Officer of the Business Intelligence Group. And we run a series of awards programs, kind of business and industry awards programs targeting kind of different verticals and different categories. And I started this about, I think it's 14 years ago now. I was a B2B telecom marketer, technology marketer. And I kind of looked at the awards landscape and just kind of wasn't impressed. We spent a lot of time in budget winning awards, and the process was messy, and the awards were a little shaky and sketchy sometimes. But we validated product through there, and we really kind of valued the process of nominating for an award, and we obviously liked the outcomes, right? So we liked the badges and the trophies. But I knew there was a better way to do it and kind of to take my spin on it. So that's what we've been trying to do for the last 14 years.
Wow, that's fascinating. And you have a lot of categories, a lot of industries you serve, a lot of different types of clients. Maybe describe the awards landscape. This is a big industry across many different verticals. How do you see this whole space today, and how do you see it evolving?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I think there's just like we have bad doctors and good doctors and good cooks and bad cooks. There are good award programs and bad award programs, and what we're seeing is kind of the bottom shake out of the industry. The kind of the fly by nights, buy a diploma, buy an award type of thing, are really going away because it's too easy to catch you now. It's too easy to look up, to validate that Harvard diploma with a QR code, or to validate an award win now. We're doing blockchain certificates now so that somebody can validate that the logo on your website or your business card or wherever you have it is actually real and that you earned it, like your diploma.
Fantastic. And how do you think about credibility when it comes to the judging process? Talk about the judges. Who are they, and how does the process work?
Well, actually, if you want to bring up our website, I'll show you our judges. The judges, in my opinion, are kind of the secret sauce of what we've built. Our judging philosophy has always been, let's hire volunteers because there was no budget. And so what we've done is create a very transparent judging model where people volunteer their time to score and nominate, or score and kind of review nominations. They're reading and scoring nominations. And in the background, we're kind of reviewing and scoring judges as well to kind of look for reputation. But these judges volunteer their time, and they come in and they have a profile here, but they get little badges of their own of which awards they've scored. So it's kind of credibility for them as well. And so on the backside of winning awards, maybe you get promotion. Our judges also get promotion for what they do and for the help they give us. So it's really an interesting model. It's not 12 journalists sitting around picking a winner. And it's not a people's choice to see who can, kind of activate their customers the most. All of those are valid for the, different reasons. But, we wanted something that seemed fair and transparent and kind of open to the business community. So that's what we tried to build.
Yeah, I would concur on the judging. Am a CES innovation judge, and I spent too many hours judging too many products and solutions. And it's a lot of work. How do you think about all that effort that goes into judging and then running a whole awards program? This seems like many, many, many person hours, if not weeks of effort.
It is. And if you think about it, I came out of local media, out of kind of newspapers, if you remember what those were. And the programs there were interesting because you had, like I said, you had 12 journalists sitting around picking winners. And, you kind of wonder who they are and what they do. And as you said, if you're one of 10 judges at CES or 20 or 50, holy mackerel, you've got some work to do, right? There's thousands of booths and thousands of entries. So just the work of processing that is really hard, right? For you in a time just a time manner reading all of that. So we always worried about quality. We didn't want a kind of a round table kind of concept where we hired experts or got AI experts together, because it would just be too much work for one group of people. And so that's when we really kind of developed this kind of democratized model of crowdsourcing everything. So, our judges are asked to score usually about 8 to 12 nominations in a given program. And so that usually takes about an hour. And so we're only asking for, all these people to give us an hour. But when you cumulatively add up all those hours, there's a lot of hours. Actually, that would be a cool, fun stat to figure out, is how many hours judging did we have.
Fascinating.
So it's, the number of hours doesn't matter, right? It's just how you break them up. And so we chose to break them up in kind of an easy way for people to join us and to build in the community.
Fantastic. And describe the, enterprise marketing landscape now. You're a first-hand view of that. Why do these awards matter now, and how can they be valuable for marketeers?
Well, we're seeing a huge shift right now because of AI. And so the way AI searches for information is very different at how humans did and how we've spent as marketers our life dealing with SEO, search engine optimization. We're now pivoting to something a lot of people are calling generative AI optimization, so GEO, generative engine optimization. And I've actually been working with some companies to look at how we make sure that the validation that we're doing and the authentication that we're doing with these businesses is actually getting consumed by AI, so that we're a source of validation. And so that's what I think we're going to see more and more in the world, is we need to make sure that the AIs are consuming real information and real data, and it's not getting fed by, malicious actors. So this is actually proving to be a very interesting market right now for marketers, because you're getting that validation and authenticity kind of check mark for AI.
Fantastic. And you've run hundreds of awards programs and participated in many of them. Any favorites in terms of awards that you've been involved with or help manage, co-manage with clients and partners? Give us some highlights or anecdotes, if you would.
Well, we run your program, which is the We Love Tech Awards. The one, I think we talked about this earlier. The one really struck to me are all where the companies are kind of deploying enterprise tech either internally or externally. And it's an interesting story. The one that, again, speaks to me was TD Bank. They really are leveraging technology in very interesting ways, both internally and kind of immersive learning environments, to externally. And Roblox, they're developing game components in Roblox, which is pretty interesting. So hearing those stories is really always the most interesting part to me. In terms of the favorite awards program, the most meaningful ones, I think, are the ones that kind of I remember the most. The first one was in our big innovation awards. I don't remember the year. I'd have to go back. There was a winner by the name of Robbie Cabral, who was from a company called BenjiLock. And so his idea, I think it was 2018, if I'm right. His idea was a fingerprint lock, right? Totally no brainer. We have this new technology. It was getting cheap enough. So let's put a fingerprint on a lock. So at a gym, on your bike, whatever, duh, right? Super duh. But he executed it himself. Like, he wasn't a huge brand. It was, it was Robbie himself. And he's built this into a really great company. He ended up, I think, doing a deal with Westinghouse, or one of the big brand manufacturers for locks and doors. And the reason I say it was most memorable is about a week after we announced the winners. Our trophy process takes a little bit after we announce winners. And he called immediately, said, "I need a trophy kind of overnight." And I'm like, "What's going on?" He said, "I'm going on Shark Tank." And so we worked with our manufacturer to get a trophy out to him very quick. And so if you look on the website, if you look elsewhere in our materials, you'll see Robbie there with Mr. Wonderful. And I think he won CES that year too. So it was a good year for him.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And it's really satisfying to hear a story like that. It seems like big tech and big dollars are taking over everything on social, even content I create. will get, millions of impressions over time, but, someone with a paid campaign will get 10x, 20, 50, 100 times that for the same piece or inferior content. Um, this sounds like more of a grassroots way to get your product or service solution noticed. Um, as a marketeer, what do you think about all these changes in the social digital landscape? I think it's looking a little scary when it comes to the dominance of big AI, big tech, the big platforms, and the little guy, whether it's that startup you mentioned or a startup in general, who don't have millions of dollars to spend on paid social, paid promotion, paid marketing, SEO, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, well, we spent 14 years building this community, and that's what it's turned into. We've had this community of judges and community on social platforms, which has been really, really empowering for me. Just that's kind of what keeps us going. Is now we look at it as a platform that kind of manages these communities, and so that's been very interesting because I think as a marketer, you're looking for those communities to get into. That's where I think. Where you really start to, sing as a marketer, where you really find your niche is you get into the communities where people are using your product and you become a part of that community. And so I think AI is driving us towards that. These are, awards and programs like awards are kind of those white hat initiatives. They're your public relations marketing campaigns. They're good. We're not doing anything tricky. We're not trying to trick the AI. We're not trying to trick Google to rank you first. We're just giving you good, basic blocking and tackling, foundational marketing tactics, to help you kind of elevate your brand, validate your product, and reward your people.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love that. Communities are king, whether it's like subreddits or, certain online sort of Slack communities or others. They're just Facebook groups. They're just amazing places to connect with like-minded people. Speaking of which, we're building a little community of our own with the We Love Tech Awards. Let me get a plug in here for folks who might be interested in nominating this award. Innovators in the B2B tech landscape, whether it's security or CX or IoT or other applications. Oftentimes, B2B tech companies are a bit under the radar, off the radar. They're not getting all the attention at shows like CES. So you presented this as an opportunity to me and my audience last year. And I'm really excited about this second annual We Love Tech Awards coming up.
Yeah, and these, as we'll see in this journey that we're on with the We Love Tech Awards, these just grow year to year. The communities get bigger, the judges pool gets bigger. Everybody gets excited about, kind of being a part of these programs, especially with the visibility you're bringing and this kind of new angle. It's a new angle for us of this YouTube audience is new for us. So we're excited to see, how we, kind of move the needle here. And it was fun doing the awards show with you last year. That was us doing the awards program. That was great. And I know you had a bunch of these winners on your show as well.
Yeah, and these are companies, again, who are doing amazing work. They're delivering real value in a practical way. None of the fluff or the hype that you see in many parts of the AI world these days. So just a final call to action. How can people get involved with you, Russ, in creating their own awards program or in nominating their companies or beyond?
Yeah, well, for We Love Tech, it's easy. Go to welovetech.awards.com. That's an easy one. But for our website, it's intelligence.com. We host most of our programs through there. All of them are linked through there. We've got a couple of programs that we host for other groups like Evan and some other affinity groups and other corporations who have kind of latched on to the idea of recognition as kind of a marketing platform. So beintelligence.com is the easiest way to find us. It's actually kind of a funny story. We started off with bigawards.org. So I think you can still navigate us to there. But when I had the idea for kind of doing this, I was working in a marketing environment and I was talking to my team. I said, there's got to be a better way of doing this. And they're like, well, yeah. I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start it up. They're like, what will you call the company? I go, I don't know. Big Awards. And they were like, what would it stand for? I go, Business Intelligence Group. And so there we are. So we have the Business Intelligence Group, and our first program was the Big Awards for Business. which we just got done with our 13th year. So pretty
amazing.
Fun.
What a journey. Well, here's to a rewarding 2026, pun intended. And thanks for joining, Russ. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Evan.
And thanks for listening, checking out the website, applying to the We Love Tech Awards, my awards program with Russ. And I'll see you at CES. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Russ.
Thanks.